Hey everyone, we're the Violet Reality. I'm Casey Rain.
I'm Kim Camellia, and welcome to
This Week in Prince, episode number 6. And it's a big one this week, people. It's a big one, it's a big one, it's a big one. 2 new Prince projects have been announced, and these are the first posthumous releases that have been announced by the Prince estate. So there's 2 things that's coming out. The first one is a new greatest hits compilation called
Forever. It's going to come out in the US on the 22nd of November, and then in the rest of the world it's going to come out on the 25th of November.
That's right. It's a 40-song compilation. Now, the important thing to remember is that this is not aimed at fans like us, or probably not fans like you. It's for new fans and casual fans, and you know, coming out in the Christmas season is obviously not a coincidence. Hits compilations come out every 10 years or so anyway. You've had the hits, the B-sides in '93, you've had Ultimate Prince in 2006, so it was about that time anyway. And indeed, Prince had been negotiating this with Warner Brothers for a couple of years. He mentioned it a couple of years ago. The photographer who has chosen the cover artwork for this, Justine Walpole, who's Prince's photographer, she says that he picked out the cover himself, and it has 1 new song on it as well. Which is?
It's a formerly unreleased song, Moonbeam Levels, that they're going to be remastering, and so it's going to sound a lot better than what we know it as. So yeah, Moonbeam Levels is actually one of my most favourite unreleased Prince songs in the world. What about you? It's
one of the most well-known of all the unreleased Prince materials. It's been bootlegged for a very long time. I think it first appeared in the early 90s. So most hardcore Prince fans are familiar with the song Moonbeam Levels, originally recorded for the 1999 album back in 1982. Didn't make the cut.
No, and it was also considered to be on Raven's Detroit Fantastic later on, but didn't make the cut for that either.
But it is one of the most beloved Prince songs, and to give you an idea of how well-known the song is, it was actually covered by Elvis Costello when they did a Prince tribute night a few years back. So the fact that an unreleased song is well known enough to be covered by a famous artist like Elvis Costello in a Prince tribute night goes to show that even though the song has officially never come out, everyone kind of is familiar with that song, and it is an absolutely fantastic track. So hearing it in perfect quality on this new set is worth the the purchase price.
It's really exciting
alone.
And also one of the awesome things as well, when obviously Prince has done a lot of photo shoots over the year, the booklet for this CD Forever is going to contain 12 unseen pictures by photographer Herb Ritts, who did a lot of celebrity photographs, so for Prince and also for artists such as Michael Jackson, etc, etc.
Yep, so if you're not familiar with Herb Ritts' work off the top of your head, then let me remind you, he actually did the shoot with Prince for the hits and the B-sides in the early 90s. So you probably know this picture that was on the VHS and DVD cover, and also the hits itself cover. You probably know this picture from the back if you can see that one. And of course, if you've been watching our videos, you know that we recently got this item. I'm dancing with it again.
So that's one of his photographs as well.
This is also a Herb Ritts photo. So to see these unreleased photos of Prince that Herb took is also going to be very, very cool. Important to remember that the cover artwork is a more recent picture taken by Justine Walpole. And
one thing that should be mentioned about Herb Ritts as well is that he did Prince's photo shoot for Vogue in 1992, so that's really, really cool that Prince was in Vogue.
Yep. You can pre-order the Forever set already.
Yeah.
We've put in our pre-order on Amazon.
We did, yeah.
We'll be looking forward to that coming out, and we'll be showing it to you when it comes out, when we've got it.
The second thing that is going to come out is finally the remaster of Purple Rain.
Yeah. Some of you may remember that Prince had been talking finally about this Purple Rain remaster a couple of years ago. In fact, when I saw him on the Hit and Run show, the Hit and Run Part 2 show in Birmingham that I saw, he even played Electric Intercourse at that show, the famous Purple Rain outtake that had never been performed since its original 1983 performance. And this was at the exact same time that discussion was happening about the Purple Rain remaster, so obviously we had come to the conclusion that Electric Intercourse was one of the songs that was going to be included on the Purple Rain remaster. Now, About a year or so ago, Prince was on Twitter. He was asked about the Purple Rain remaster. He said he had already delivered it to Warner Brothers. It was up to them, you know, when they were going to release it. There was some kind of hold up one way or another. Now Prince, his longtime lawyer Londell Macmillan has confirmed on Twitter that this Purple Rain remaster that's coming out next year is in fact the same set that Prince had delivered to Warner Brothers 2 years ago. Likely the hits compilation, Prince had been talking about it, you know, likely there had been work on that as well. So for people who were saying, you know, why isn't there more unreleased music coming out or stuff from the vault or blah blah blah, you know, it is important to remember that both of these projects were in the works and deals had been discussed and potentially finalised while Prince was still alive. So it makes sense that these are the first two projects that is coming out.
And I think that we have to be patient with that as well, because obviously the rest of it is going to come to us over the years. So I think we just have to be patient and we have to be sort of grateful for what they're giving us at the moment.
You know, long-term strategy for the vault has to be, you know, figured out, and how they're going to release things, whether they're going to, you know, release albums that were compiled and never released, or you know, pick certain songs and put them on different projects, and you know, these are things that have to be negotiated at length and figured out at length, and you know, songs have to be appraised and valued and all that stuff. So it makes total sense that these two projects are the ones that we see, because they actually require the least amount of work to be done.
Yeah, and I think that for people that aren't Prince fans already, and they've obviously heard about Prince passing away because he had such a massive influence on the music industry, as you not being a fan, you would want to know about what his hits were, and obviously you could buy something like the hits and B-sides and things like that, but I think because this is going to be a new release, it will be quite high up there in terms of promotion and things like that, so people will see it and people will most likely buy it or see it in stores. We're like, oh, Prince, oh, that's interesting, let's just give that a go, you know, and then they have this little extra, which is a formerly unreleased song, so that's really cool.
The other thing that people have spoken about online already is some people are questioning why certain songs are not appearing on this hits compilation. It only goes up to 1995. That's because it is a Warner Brothers compilation of Warner Brothers songs. You know, negotiating to add songs that were never released on Warner Brothers onto a new Warner Brothers compilation would be a nightmare, and we wouldn't be getting you know, this hits collection this early. So you know, this is a Warner Brothers years compilation. It's important to bear that in mind. You're not going to get songs from Emancipation or, you know, 3121 or Musicology on here, because those were all released by different labels. So, so that's worth bearing in mind as well.
So moving on from the biggest discussion topic in this video, basically, we will tell you something about the Prince exhibition that's going on now in the Mall of America.
Yes, so as you know, if you've been watching our videos, there have been various hold-ups with Paisley Park getting its permanent status. Those are most likely about to be resolved very, very, very soon. In the meantime, what they have done is, although Paisley Park is open on certain days, they have also done a new exhibition at the Mall of America, which I think is in Bloomington, Minnesota. And so this is like a little tease for the Paisley Park Museum. It's a small exhibit inside the mall that contains, I think, between 20 to 30 items that will be later on in the Paisley Park Museum.
So it contains a couple of his outfits, like the raspberry beret suit and what he wore during the Super Bowl, and I think it even includes one of his fancy canes that he used to walk around with. Exactly,
so some outfits, canes, memorabilia, I think some storyboards from Purple Rain, just a few key items from the overall Paisley Park exhibit that will hopefully entice your average mall shopper to think, hey, museum at Paisley Park, cool, we should go check that out. And that's the purpose of the exhibit. So if you're in Minnesota, you're going to go to the Mall of America, check out the exhibit, let us know, drop us a comment, because it's only on until mid-November. So we personally will not get a chance to go to the Mall of America exhibit. There is one more thing that we want to talk about. There was a fantastic article regarding Prince and Australia.
Prince wanted to come back to Australia later on in 2016, so right about now actually, but sadly you passed away, so that never happened.
So there was an article basically with the promoter, or one of the promoters involved with the Australian shows, earlier at the beginning of this year, the piano and a microphone shows that happened. The promoter's name is Paul Dainty, and he stated that as soon as those shows were completed, as soon as Prince had left Australia, there were already emails going back and forth about Prince coming back to Australia. Around now, sort of late October, November 2016, there were budgets drawn up and plans and things like that. So it very much seems like Prince, you know, did want to come back to Australia, or was making more plans for future shows. We'd also heard a while back that, as we mentioned in one of our previous videos, that Prince was looking into playing at the new stadium in Minneapolis as well that just opened. So there were plans for future shows. You know, it is nice to hear that he was planning things far ahead, and you know, especially with the piano and a microphone format. Yeah,
he actually wanted to film one of the piano and a microphone tours.
That's
one
right.
of the Australia ones. I think it might have been the last Australia one.
It was the Sydney show. This was mentioned in the article as well. There were plans in place to film the Sydney show. But the day before the show, Prince told them that he did not want these shows filmed. He changed his mind about that. But it would have been nice to get some of these shows filmed. Perhaps maybe some of the US shows were filmed. We don't actually know if that's the case or not. But I'm sure in time some really good footage will will show up from piano and microphone stuff.
We were on the MJ cast just a couple of weeks ago, and episode 2 is out now of the roundtable discussion about Michael and Prince, so definitely check that out, because it's a follow-up to the first episode that we mentioned and that we were on, and I think it's definitely worth checking out.
Yes, indeed. I know a few of you guys clicked on over to the MJ cast to listen to episode 41 of our Prince and Michael Jackson roundtable discussion with the two of us and several other guests.
Yeah, we got great feedback from you, by the way, so thanks so much. Really nice.
Thank you all for checking that out. So as Kim said, part 2 is out now, episode 42. So head on over to themjcast.com, or you can look at it in the podcasts on iTunes or Google Music or whatnot. So part 2 is pretty different to part 1, covering a whole different range of topics, such as our personal experiences as Prince fans and Michael Jackson fans, Prince and Michael Jackson's impact on fashion, and several other topics that didn't make it into the first part. So it's absolutely a must listen for all Prince fans, all MJ fans, and people like us who are fans of both.
Exactly. So yeah, check it out. So the last section in every This Week in Prince video is Prince merchandise we got this week.
Yeah.
Now we've got something quite special this week, actually. What we got is this beautiful box set.
Ooh, it's the Prince movie collection on Blu-ray. So 3 movies on Blu-ray: Purple Rain, Under the Cherry Moon, and Graffiti Bridge. I think of the 3, Graffiti Bridge was the one that was in the most need of seeing in HD. Obviously, everyone's seen Purple Rain on a big screen pretty much, or, you know, obviously shot on a very high quality film with a massive budget. Under the Cherry Moon as well. But Graffiti Bridge, being a bit of a smaller production than the first 2 movies, you know, the DVD copy and the VHS copy didn't really see all the detail that you see on the Blu-ray.
That's really amazing how they did that, because the colors are so much more vibrant as well.
This is available on Amazon, either if you're in the US or UK or wherever you are, you could probably get it. One thing that I was a little disappointed about, actually, some of the pictures, and I think perhaps the US release of this, I'm not 100% sure, they actually had purple top bits.
Yeah, so not a Blu-ray, but a Purple Ray you've got there.
Whereas in the UK we get the blue one. Yeah. Oh well. It would have been nice to have purple ones. Maybe we'll get that one anyway.
We'll just get both of them.
Exactly. It's great to have this stuff on Blu-ray. If there's one more criticism that I would make, it would have been nice to get some bonus features on Graffiti Bridge.
Yeah.
Which it doesn't have. Neither Under the Cherry Moon. Purple Rain, of course, has all of the many bonus features, as you would expect for a film as big as Purple Rain.
I think that Graffiti Bridge and Under the Cherry Moon only have their cinematic trailers.
That's all they have, It would have been nice to see. There's a bunch of great unreleased scenes from Graffiti Bridge. I actually have a bootleg DVD of about 10 or 15 minutes of unreleased Graffiti Bridge stuff. It's in terrible quality because it's you know bootleg.
Maybe it will ever get remastered once, you know, like they start working on projects, maybe do like album themed, like anniversary albums and things like that, remaster the rest of the albums.
There's a fantastic scene that didn't make it into Graffiti Bridge. It's in the deleted scenes that should have been on this Blu-ray and isn't. And that's the Can't Stop This Feeling I Got scene. you may be able to find it, I don't know, online or something.
If you've seen it though, like, you should let us know. I think that, well, a couple of fans, or like most fans, may have seen or you may not have seen it. It kind of depends on like how good you are at finding stuff like that. But yeah, then again, we cannot send it to you, you know.
Yes. But I've always maintained that, you know, Graffiti Bridge just needed better editing.
Yeah.
And maybe they should have left all these scenes in and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Some people hate it.
Yeah.
Some people love it.
I love it because it's kind of my favorite era look-wise, because I love his hair there. But yeah, it's a good movie. I think it's like, it's less understandable than Purple Rain, that kind of concept, because it's like about Orange is this angel kind of person. It's like the plot is kind of, you know, not very like
easy to follow.
No, that's it. That's
Let's just
the
say
word
that.
I was looking for.
I think Purple Rain appeals to people that aren't Prince fans. Graffiti Bridge kind of doesn't.
I think that
it's for fans. If you're watching this and you're maybe a new fan, or a newer fan, or a casual fan, and you maybe haven't seen any of these movies, you know, for the same price as what it would probably cost you to buy Purple Rain on its own, you can get this box set, and we would heavily recommend you watch both Under the Cherry Moon and Graffiti Bridge.
Yeah, in the right order though. Alright, so that was This Week in Prince, episode number 6 for this week.
Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, all that stuff. You guys rock. We always love hearing from you.
We do,
so please drop your comments on everything.
Definitely.
From the albums to the exhibits.
To the movies to everything.
We want to know what you think.
Exactly, yeah. Alright, that was it for this week, folks. Bye-bye.
Catch you next time.
Bye.